Yeah, thanks for hopping on, Dan. Could you just quickly give a brief background on yourself? Yeah, like whatever you want to share. Maybe what school you go to, or or what company you worked at, and how many leak code questions, like whatever you're willing to talk about. Just to give the chat a little bit of intro, so they know who's doing the interview on the other side.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a student, computer science student at Indiana University, Indianapolis.
Nice.
Go Pacers. Um, I started at Ivy Tech Community College around January 2024, and I've been kind of doing like software development, like courses and like building stuff since like September 2023. I've probably since that time probably done like around 100 to 150 leak code problems.
Mhm.
But I would say in the last like probably since the last time like I hopped on the stream around that like week or a week after that, I haven't done any elite code for like 4 or 5 weeks now. So,
Oh, you haven't
um,
done 4 or 5 weeks, so you're gonna be a little bit rusty.
um, yeah, definitely. I think at that time, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a little rusty, but I think I'm willing to just kind of figure out where I'm at.
Yeah,
Um, I think I definitely have a good kind of understanding for data structures and algorithms. I think where I just struggle is like consistently like having the syntax to be able to do problems.
I see. Okay. So, what year are you in again? Sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, so I'm actually getting a bachelor's degree in computer science in 3 years. So I actually don't really know. I guess I would be like a junior. I
How
only
many
have like
years of college have you done? Like how many years of university?
so I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and
Nice.
I'm going through and getting a second degree in
So,
computer science.
nice, nice.
And
Well,
then
what made you want to switch?
yeah, so actually, I had a bit of a rough time after I graduated. I was trying to get into a top sports psychology master's program, and yeah, I just didn't have enough experience like coaching sports.
I see.
So, and then 2023 was a really rough year for me. I was trying to find a career coaching basketball,
Nice.
and yeah, that just I didn't find any opportunities. So
I
I
see.
had to make a career change, and I ended up kind of just, I guess, falling into not even computer science. It was just like software development. I started with Harvard University's free computer science class on edx.com. And I tried that out, and I was like, yeah, I like this. I like building stuff. So that's kind of where my journey started.
Yeah. That no, that makes a lot of sense. Like, are you a Pacers fan?
I mean, I don't think I mean, yeah, I guess I am. I mean, I've been to a few Pacer games,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say it's like my favorite team. But it's kind of exciting to, you know, I don't think the last time I remember the Indiana Pacers being in the Eastern Conference Finals was back in like 2014 with Miami Heat LeBron. So,
Yeah. I mean, they're in the
kind
finals.
of,
Finals.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of exciting for
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely not to be like a hater or anything. I definitely never would have guessed it though.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. How is it with like landing interviews and stuff for you? Are you trying to get an internship?
Yeah, so I actually did finish up an internship. I was actually, I mean, kind of doing two at the same time. I finished them both in May. Um, but one of them was unpaid. Another one was kind of like a program where they have you build. It's kind of like a boot camp, but then at the end of it, they try to get you like they have like jobs actually lined up for you. That kind of makes sense.
I see. Cool.
So I was doing both of those. at the same time. I finished both those in May. But yeah, I've been having a pretty rough time just getting interviews.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I've been applying.
okay.
Um,
How are you with like trees? Are you able to implement depth first search, breadth first search?
I mean, like I was saying before, like I think I have a good understanding. Like I understood, kind of what was going on in the last interview. But as far as like implementing it with syntax, I'm not really too sure. I think I'm willing to give it a shot. I think the last thing I remember with breadth first search and depth first search is like using like recursion
Yeah.
a little bit with that. Um,
Okay. Okay, let's just get into this coding interview then. I think I have a gauge of where you're at. Let's see. I sent you the link to the coder pad.
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Should be in here.
okay. So this is the first question, right? We're gonna be given
Is it alright if we use Java? Is that fine?
yeah, we can use Java. Let's see. Damn, 3 people today using Java. It's a record.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of experience with Python, with data structures and algorithms, just C++ and Java.
I see. I see. So we're gonna be given two arrays, array one and array two, right? One, two, three, 4, 5, or 10. And both of these arrays are gonna be sorted, right? I just want you to output a third array that's combines these two lists and has the two lists sorted.
Okay, so you said that array one and array two are already sorted. You want me to combine both of them, and the ending result should be also sorted.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, right. So, um, what I'm probably thinking about here is um, kind of making another array for just the solution, um, and then adding each of the arrays into that array, and then just sorting it.
So create a third array, put all those
Yeah.
elements into that array, then sort it. What's the runtime complexity of that?
That would probably be like brute force. So maybe O of n.
How fast is a algorithm?
I'm not really too sure.
Okay. Sort. I'll just tell you then that sort is n log n operation.
Okay.
So if we put all elements into this array, one, two, three, we pretend it's like, and we sort it, we get a O of n solution, or like the runtime is n log n, right?
Wait, so what happened to array one?
I just added 25. Okay, so could you explain your solution again?
Yeah, so I have array one, two, and eventually I'm gonna have array three. So what I would do is I would create, or I guess instantiate array three,
Mm-hmm.
add all of the elements from array one into array three, and then I would add all of the elements from array two into array three, and then finally I would sort array three.
Yeah, and then the runtime of that is n log n, because like why would it be n log n?
I have no idea.
Well, because are you familiar with how to calculate? So could you write out that algorithm? Let's just walk through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, try implementing it, and then we'll walk through. I want to test if you understand time complexity as well, because that's a very important part.
Right.
It's here. I would write it inside of this here.
Oh, okay.
Because in
Sorry
Java
about
it
that.
needs to run, right? It needs to run in a class in Java.
So this should be the outer part, the main that kind of takes my solution, right?
Yeah. So what's public static void main here? What is that?
Um, I guess static is like it's just the main is kind of, I guess, like encapsulated to like itself. It's like um I guess like things that are inside of the main can't be used outside of the main unless it's in this like parameter.
Hmm.
Like use it somewhere else.
Okay. Let's just assume that we create a array here. Like, okay, how do you instantiate an array in Java?
I'll just go ahead and that'd be a list. As far as an array, I would do it a little bit different, but yeah, an array list, I would do it like this here.
Okay. Okay, we have a list of integers, and let's just start off with like this. And we have array two. Okay. Now just like write the function that's going to produce this result.
Okay. I'm going to, and this is what I was saying is that I'm going to make obviously a third array that would be my result. So I would do that, and then I would do. I don't want any. Finally, um, there's a library for this, maybe collections that I need.
Wait, so you're going for I in array size. You're doing I in array one size, and you're doing. Maybe try printing this out. Just
Okay.
few errors. Oh, just make sure you understand. It's illegal start of expression.
Right. So if um okay.
You can prompt the AI assist right here. You see the AI assist tab?
Oh, okay, yeah. Um
You see it here? This side?
yeah.
You can like ask, type in hi or something. I just wanted to make sure that it. Okay, cool. That it shows on my end. Okay, what would you ask this AI in order? I think the first part is like I don't think you're creating the array list properly. Can you ask it how to create like an array list properly?
Sure. Right. So um yeah, normally I would probably do it like this. As far as putting it in like this, I'm don't really do that too much, but no, I definitely understand this for sure.
Check it out now. I just prompted it of how to initialize it.
As a list. Okay. Okay.
So you created the two list result. Okay, what's happening here? Line 26.
I don't. Maybe I should do this -1.
No, you're fine here because I is less than, right?
Okay.
So
Array
what's
one
happening
dot
here? You're
size.
looping through every element in array one and you're adding it to the result, right?
Yep.
Okay, what's happening here? Why is this array one, not array two?
Oh, yeah. That's probably not good.
Okay, now if when you run it, try running the code, you'll see that you have it. Now
Right.
you're right. We just need to kind of sort it. Now it's complaining. What is it saying? It's saying there's no such thing
Um.
as sort.
Right. I think what I'm pretty accustomed to is there is a collections library. I'm not sure if that's just util.
Prompt
Yeah.
the
There's.
AI.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was this. I wonder both sort, but more for primitive arrays, right? So this is for the lists. Okay. Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm kind of rusty on the syntax, but I think I definitely can remember using collections, sorting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
um,
Okay. Let's analyze the runtime complexity. How long does this algorithm take to run? Like this portion of like what's the runtime complexity of this?
so you'd have to go through basically every single element in the array. So I would guess that'd be O of n.
O of n. Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, same thing.
So you're saying this is O of n.
Maybe not exactly the entire solution, but the for loops independently are O of n.
How about this? O of n. Okay. What about this? Sort. I think I told you
This
earlier.
last part,
The sort.
the sort. Yeah, so I'm trying to think how that would work. So you'd want to go through the array and assess if the element before the one that we're currently at is, or I'm sorry, the element that we're currently at is,
Well, here, one sec. Let's assume because you sorting, I told you is gonna take n log n, right? N log n.
okay.
That's just how it is, right? That's because there's different sorting algorithms that I could walk you through that as well. But now that we broke down every single step, what is the total runtime complexity of my whole solution?
I'm not really too sure.
How would we calculate that?
I don't think I've ever done
Oh, you
that.
okay? You never had to ever do
No.
runtime. Okay, just taking notes because I just want to see where your gaps are so we could improve on that. So, what's the time complexity? Well, if this takes O of n to run, this takes O of n to run, and this takes O of n, log n to run. If we add, do you know what O of, like, what time complexity even means?
Yeah, so like the kind of like the time that it takes for an algorithm to like complete.
Exactly. So if we say the first part takes n time, the next time takes n time. But honestly, this is, I'll just walk you through it. So array 1, let's say array 1 is of size n. Array 1, array 1, this is of size n. Array 2 could be a different size, so we can't just use n. We have to use a different variable, m. So we're saying array is the size n, and array 2 is the size m. That means this first loop will take n time, this second one will take m time, and then this right here would actually take n plus m, n plus m, because it's looping through if you add up the length of both n and m. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So the if we add it, if we say this algorithm, the time it takes is it's first is gonna take n time for the first part to add it to the array, then m, then this, right? So that's the total time complexity, but you could simplify it by taking the largest term. And you should just research how to calculate runtime complexity. It's very, very important for computer science to understand runtime complexity. But basically, you take the biggest term, which is n plus m log n, and that's kind of how we achieve this runtime right here. So that's the final runtime of that algorithm. And in coding interviews, they're gonna ask you that question. They're gonna ask you what is the runtime complexity of your algorithm. Does that make sense? Because they want to understand how efficient your algorithm is.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Understand.
Nice. Okay, let's go into another question as well.
Okay.
So I think for that, let me just give some feedback. I think definitely seems like, yeah, you're still super early with coding and your DSA because you weren't that familiar with like the syntax for Java. I think you I think you just need to familiarize yourself more with Java as a whole. Like when I if I ask you to if you want to use Java in a coding interview, you have to be super comfortable with it. That means what I mean by that is really understanding the library, the standard library, and the standard things you could do. So you should be able to have known that you have to do array as list kind of thing. Um, and then just the syntax with how you sort. You shouldn't really have to look up those things in a coding interview. Some of the more complicated things you might have to look up, and you'll have to look up. But like some of the basic syntax, I think you just need to familiarize yourself well with the programming language. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I actually just started coding in Java. I want to say in March.
Nice.
I actually took my data structures and algorithms class in C++. plus plus.
I see.
So, I mean, Java seems pretty close to C++, plus plus, but it just, of course, different, like collections that sort and
Yeah, exactly.
some,
So
just minor stuff. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I probably do just need to practice more.
exactly.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so I agree.
yeah.
I definitely agree.
And then another
I've
thing
definitely
would
done a few leak code problems using like this, but it's like I said, it's been like 5 weeks.
honestly,
So
if you're just learning Java and you're just new to coding, I would just learn Python and just stick with Python because it has the less syntax and it's you'll be able to code a lot faster using Python. That's my advice since you're just starting.
yeah, so I have a lot of experience like coding with Python and like Django, but I just haven't really had the time to like learn object-oriented programming and data structures and algorithms in Python like to the extent that I have in C++. plus plus. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've definitely considered getting more into it. It seems like the language that people prefer to do data structure and algorithms in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're still new, right? You don't want to be solving language issues when you're solving these questions as well. It's just gonna if you're already really good at lead code or you've done a lot of programming, like your experience in Java, I would say do it because then all algorithms are just gonna get even more complicated than this. And if you have to satisfy the compiler, it will just slow you down a lot. And I think that's not what you need right now. What you need is to be able to solve questions fast. You need to gain more breadth in understanding and breadth in the question solved. So I think just focus on a programming language that's less verbose. Like it's almost like Python's literally like almost like pseudocode, just so you can understand the algorithms and only focus on the algorithms and nothing related to the language. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Another thing would be I think you need to just like research some of the definitely need to understand runtime complexity. This is crucial for interviews. Understanding runtime complexities of the most um,
I mean, I
com-
know a few of them, right? Like I know that O of one would be like hash tables and nested loops are O of n squared. I just like for example, like adding them up. I'm not really familiar with that.
yeah.
Um, some
Nice.
of the other ones like n log of n and log of n. Sometimes I can forget about those. Um, and the reason why I kind of know like O of n is because it's brute force and n squared. I have a lot of like I guess like leak code problems that use like nested loops, and I just remember that O of one is like hash tables.
Yeah.
So um, I just think that, like I said, like adding time complexity up from a solution. I don't like I said, I've just never done that.
Yeah, that's I would just practice that, like being able to do those runtime complexities. And what I mean is, you also need to understand the runtimes of things like sorting. That's really important. And then for the date for like inserting into an array, popping from a stack, popping from the front of an array, all the common data structures, understanding the runtime complexities of the various operations. So that includes sorting an array. So yeah, um, let's just move on. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So I'm gonna give you the prompt. So this is kind of a classic one. Pretty sure maybe you've seen it before. But we want to write a program that prints the numbers 1 to n. But for multiples of 3, print fizz instead of that number. And for multiples of 5, print buzz. For numbers that are multiples of both 3 and 5, print fizz buzz.
right. So we would want to use I've done this one.
How would you explain
We
it? Let's just walk through and just make sure.
Right. So I guess first, right. So our first part of this says that write a program that prints the numbers from one to n. So we need n. Um, the next part of this is that we would want kind of if else statements that utilize divisibility. So basically, if n is divisible by 3, but for multiples of 3, we're going to print fizz. If n is divisible by 5, we're going to print buzz. And if n is divisible by both 3 and 5, we're going to print FizzBuzz.
Yeah. So how would you structure like right? Just go into the main and implement that then.
Right. So I guess we're going to have an integer n, whatever that might be. So if n what was it, 3, right? Um, sure. We'll just do a random number. All right, so that's what that would look like. As far as getting in, I just initialized it to 10, but this is how we would do that.
Okay. What's so? Let's run this code. It just said buzz, right? I need you to print out like the this is the expected output right here.
So the expected output is 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz fizz. Okay, so write a program that prints the numbers from 1 to n.
So for this, pretend I put n equals 15, right? It,
Okay.
we want this to pretend this is a console. I want to look at the console and see this: one, two, fizz, four, buzz, fizz, seven, eight, fizz, buzz, 11.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, if my salute or my n is 10, then I want to start with 1, and if there's nothing, if it's not divisible by, or if it doesn't meet any of these conditions, we're not going to print anything. We're going to continue. We're going to go to 2 and check. Is that what you mean?
Like basically, what I mean is right now when you look at the output, right, it only said buzz. I want it to on the console print out this whole thing, 42 to 56, starting from 1 to 15. Print out the result of all those.
Right. So I'm thinking that we're going to do a for loop, um, or not 10, I'm sorry, to n, whatever that might be. Right. Um, and what we want to do each time is check I um, instead of n. So control B. And we would want to check if I is I. I. And then we would need to. I don't remember if I'm just what I'm gonna do is because I don't remember if print line includes a new line.
It does. It does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So yeah, I would just print I. And then we go to that new line. Same thing for the rest of these. So we'll run that. Right. So if that, oh yeah, so we also need to print each. So the other thing that we'll do is we'll system, or yeah, we'll do else. What we're gonna do is, right, we're just going to print I. So that should 0, 1, 2, 3 is okay. I believe that's it. I mean, I could try. Oh, you changed it to 15.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's not matching what I expect.
Okay.
3 should
So
print fizz. Like 15 is not printing fizz buzz. It's like it looks off.
okay. So from 1 to n, but for multiples of 3. Right. So if we start at 0, or no, we're going to start at 1. Okay. So if we start at 1 and then we check if 1 is divisible by 3, it's not. We're going to continue. It's not divisible by 5. It's not divisible by 5 and 3. So we're just going to print 1. That should be correct. So if we go through and we go to 2, right? 2 shouldn't be divisible by 3 or 5 or 3 and 5. So that should also print I. When we get to 3, that's divisible by 3. So we're going to print 3 and then fizz. So that would match the output on the right so far. We would pass 4, and 5 would be divisible by 5. we would go to 6. That would be
Are
divisible
you
by.
pointing somewhere? Sorry.
No, no, I'm just checking. I'm checking. I mean, I would say up to this point, what I've checked, that would be logically correct according to what I have.
Okay, pretend we have 15, right?
Okay.
What should be output at 15 if we have 15?
Right. So that would meet the condition that I is both divisible by 5 and 3. So we would print FizzBuzz.
Which what would it print out here in your solution?
Oh, right. Okay, I see. I see now. So right. Um, what I'm thinking is we're gonna need and I um will 5 does not equal 0. That's what I'm probably thinking for this potentially. Um, yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking here for that.
Okay, probably delete this. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would probably want, I guess in this case, like that doesn't exactly say that we want to find numbers that are exclusively divisible by 3. Um, although by stating that it's not divisible by 5, I guess we could just go off of the conditions that we have divisible by 3 and 5 and just use those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it still looks off. Like 15 there is not printing FizzBuzz.
So like
Wait,
here,
wait. Let's run the code. If you look at
yeah,
the
it should be
console,
now.
oh,
Yeah, it
it's
says
a,
fizz buzz at the end.
oh, okay, wait, because you're printing this. It should like I want it to match exactly there. Okay, there you go. 13, 14.
Oh, okay. So you want it on the. Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Like we
Okay,
don't print the number unless it's not divisible by 3, divisible by or divisible by 5.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Right. All right. Okay. How do you think you did? Anything any like things that you wanna? Yeah, just curious
I
on your
mean,
side of it.
that's pretty. I mean, I think I've done harder questions than this. This was pretty easy. I think some of the, minor details, I just needed to work out, like exclusively being divisible by 3 and 5. Um, but yeah, I mean the other way I could have done this is I could have just taken that last else if statement and put it at the top, so that like if it's not divisible by 3 and 5, it'll just continue. I think that might work by the program starting at the top,
Yeah.
but this also is fine in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah. I think it definitely could be cleaned up. It's like there's a
Okay.
lot of too many conditions here. I think yeah. Initially, where you messed up was that you weren't ordering the if else conditions good, so it was exiting early. So how do you do that? Is usually I mean you do like if I is divisible by 3 and divisible by 0, do FizzBuzz here. Like you mentioned, if I is divisible by 5, what do we want to print out? Buzz. If I is divisible by 3, right here, we print Fizz. Otherwise, so that should give us the right result, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a
Yeah.
bit cleaner than the original solution. Yeah, I think yeah you're definitely like still definitely new from what I see. You just still have to practice more. That's what I would say. Is like start from the basic questions, easy questions. Like this was an easy question, you figured it out, but you should be able to figure it out in seconds and like implement it without any bugs. Not seconds, but like within a few minutes, right? That's where I would want you to get to on this question.
Okay.
But I think you're in the right direction. You just literally need to keep practicing. You're still new. You just started. Um, yeah, I think everything's there. You're doing the right things. It's all about practice. No one starts off good at lead code or coding or any of this stuff, right? Like you said, you've been coding for under 3 years.
Yeah. So yeah, probably around that. I
Around
think I
3 years
started
now,
in like
or 2 years.
yeah. I started in like September of 23. So um,
2 years.
probably under
Yeah,
2 years.
yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks for taking the time out to interview. Hope it was like insightful and how you learned some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Cool. All right. See you around.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace. All right. Next, Paul's gonna run an interview on me. Give it a sec though.